I can't think of a moment, and you got the feel because everything started pointing in this direction towards the last 2 or 3 holes for either of those golfers yesterday, that they were going to be playing together. That was going to be the grouping and the whole thing. And then Rory finishes. DeChambeau was after him because he was with Rose. Rory finishes. He does the media, and he's breaking down some of his holes. And he was asked, he's like, Rory, like, looks like you're going to be playing with Bryson DeChambeau tomorrow. And this is a little bit of a rematch. And the question was phrased, how do you feel about getting a rematch where Bryson took it the first time the whole way? And McIlroy's response was, I think that's the key, to not make it a rematch. I can't make this about me versus him. I got to make this about me versus the course. I got to stay in his words were, I got to stay in my own bubble. That is important for me to stay in my own bubble. Now, if you flipped it, and then when Bryson finishes and he birdies his 3rd hole in the last 4, especially birdieing 18 to finish with a 34 in the back 9, he's coming out. He's high-fiving everybody. He's fired up. He's got the live in him, coming out. He's utilizing the momentum. And then he's asked about it, and you could tell there was nobody more excited to play in that top grouping against Rory McIlroy in a kind of a second place mentality where there's no pressure on you. This guy is second place at the Masters right now, and all the pressure in the world is on first place. And Rory, there's a lot of golf to be played. I can't think of another moment recently where there was this amount of pressure with the story. Rory trying to get a major for the first time in 10 years. This is his year. He has played well throughout the season. He has had opportunities here and there, and he is desperate to become that immortal and get that Grand Slam, be the 6th golfer ever to do it, the first one in the last 21 years to do it, because Tiger accomplished it in 2004. I can't think of a time when there was more pressure on a golfer than today with Rory, especially with the one guy. If it was, Matt McCarty sitting on Rory's tail, it's a little different. The fact that it's DeChambeau, a guy who's sort of trying to keep Liv afloat here and trying to keep Liv into the mix at the Masters, which they haven't done since that Rahm win. He's got an opportunity to kind of represent Liv a little bit. That is probably the last person you want sitting right behind you in your grouping with DeChambeau behind Rory. Cade, I'm fascinated to see how Rory, even the first 4 holes, you'll get a sense of how he feels. First 4 holes, if he's playing aggressively, he dominated. He had an unbelievable first 6 holes yesterday. He eagled 2, birdied on 1 and 3. He was the first golfer in Masters history to get 6 straight threes to open a round. First ever. I'm very curious to see how he's going to play that same 6 this time around with DeChambeau hot in his trails.
I cannot even begin to describe how excited I am to just see such a star-studded final round in the Masters. The last 8 Masters winners have come from the final pairing, or final threesome, because there's been a few times that we've had to make some changes, right? But we always get the drama at the finish, whether it's a playoff, whether it's a comeback, whether there's a complete breakdown. The Masters gives us everything. And it's actually been a few years since we've had this, because you've had Scotty Scheffler, who's dominated. Yeah. Jon Rahm won by 4 strokes as well. I go back to 2019 probably when Tiger won it. That was one of the greatest Masters ever in terms of the story attached to it. This is right up there for me.
Yeah.
You're talking about the man who has been chasing destiny for a decade at this point, since he won his 3 majors back in between 2011 and 2014. And then you've got the young upcoming star who's won 2 U.S. Opens, who's been in the mix in Masters, who is now the king of a completely different league all across the world, who's now the star of golf media when it comes to his YouTube channel.
He embraces the pressure. He embraces the crowd. He's changed the way he views it.
Yes.
Rory is classic. Rory is classy. He wants to keep things calm, tame. He doesn't want to if he plays poorly, he doesn't talk to the media. He's within his own world.
Yep.
He is trying to keep things as small as possible. Bryson's the opposite.
And those two worlds are about to collide today.
Bryson is the opposite. Bryson's trying to make this as big of a moment as he possibly can because he knows it's good for golf, the whole thing, but it's good for him. It's fun. Rory's trying to make this he's at the final round at Augusta. He's trying to make this as small as it possibly can be. And I am legitimately nervous. I'm not a Rory guy. I'm legitimately nervous for him. I'm not even curious to see. I feel the pressure for Rory.
I'm curious to see how much he keeps to that, right? Because if you go back and you watch his major wins, 2014 PGA Championship comes to mind. Unbelievable last round. Huge 3-wood. That's the shot. Is his 3-wood on, I believe it was 15, wherever they were for the PGA Championship, puts it to 3 feet for an eagle, and that's what propels him into the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was hyped. He was all about the crowd. He was all about getting everyone going.
It took golf by storm those 3 years, yeah.
Yes. And he was Mr. Magic, and he was getting everyone excited. He has now become more of the veteran.
Trying to recapture that magic is what but a different way. But
he's not, though.
He's evolved.
That's the thing.
He's evolved.
He's trying to win, but he's not trying to do it in a flashy sort of way. He just wants to be cool, calm, and collective about it. I wonder if he does when the final round, when the end of the round starts coming, and these bigger holes start coming up.
Now, yeah.
Amen corner and 15 and 16.
Right.
Whether he taps into a little bit of that energy to try to counter Bryson, because that's all Bryson's going to do. You see that stare down on 16 yesterday at the Patrons?
Yep.
All he wants to do is get everyone going.
How is Rory going to handle his par fives? You got to get a couple birdies on your par fives.
Yep.
But are you going to fall behind? Bryson yesterday too. The guy was bunkering left and right. I think there was about 5 different times where he bunkered, and he had excellent bunker shots, including on 18.
Short game was incredible yesterday.
His short game was incredible. And part of me thinks, listen, I'm no pro golfer, but part of me thinks that's not necessarily the recipe to do it again today. We know how good you are to the bunker, Bryson. Let's try to avoid that today, yeah? But I'm thinking from another perspective. One of my basketball coaches from high school actually just texted me. And he said, he's listening. He said, you could share this with your audience. He goes, my prediction, I'm curious what your thoughts here. This is his prediction.
Okay.
He said, Bryson will take the lead in the first 4 to 5 holes, and then Rory will come back to win it. He said, book it. I don't know if I see Rory rumbling back if Bryson's able to take an early lead. Late, back and forth, makes sense. But an early one, that would be a very tricky scenario if Rory, 2 bogeys in the front 9 or something like that. And then all of a sudden you're on 9, 10, and 11, which gave a lot of people problems yesterday. Rory had a good hole there, but still gave a lot of people problems. I don't know if I see that, but that would be the ultimate story. What is your prediction for what we will see today in this final round?
I'm going to take Rory, and he's going to do it in one of 2 ways. He's going to do it where he has the exact same start as yesterday, and he gets like 4 birdies in the first 6 holes or something like that.
So he's going to start hot.
He's either going to wipe out everything that's around him, and he's going to start out unbelievably hot. There's going to be 6-stroke lead in the front 9. No need to watch the back 9. Or he's going to blow it in the first 4 holes, and this will be a tie game by the 5th hole. And then he'll win it on 16 or 17.
I lean that. I think this will be a tied score before we could blink.
Yes.
I don't know if I see that in the sense of a collapse. I could just
see Bryson just getting.
I could see hot. Bryson just having a good first couple holes. Then all of a sudden, Rory's got a little pressure there. If he hasn't necessarily had that great shot yet, that would be my prediction. That'd also be the best round. I'm looking for the best round possible. I'd
also
like
true.
to see Rory do it. It's said a lot, so it's a little beaten to death, but this is his year.
It's been his year.
Rory, this is your year. This is the time you got to do it.